I'll tell you something that's made people absolutely furious and really worried and upset this week, and that was the failure to pay child benefit to 500,000 people, Martin, on Monday. It wasn't paid yesterday and is still due to be paid this morning.
Well, we hope it'll be paid this morning. I got an updated figure that it was 577,000 people. It was fascinating that this wasn't mentioned in the election campaign. The politicians left it aside. I was ranting all day on Monday trying to get some answers from HMRC on it. So it's going to be paid. My most important message, if you're one of the people missed out, if you've had a knock-on cost, so, for example, you've had a bank charge because your payments bounced, and it's quite tragic that 25 or 40 quid, so many people are living hand-to-mouth on it. There is a form on the gov.uk called Complain About HMRC. Fill in that form, take a photo of the charge that you've had and ask them to pay it. They have said they will look at cases where people have had a direct knock-on cost, and let's hope the system works today and it is paid today. Those 577,000 people who were expecting that payment on Monday, you should get it today.
Yeah.
Was it an IT failure?
It seems to have been a systems failure, was the generic term. We tend not to know what's going on. One of this scale of a payment like that, I don't remember for a while. But we've had many problems in the past. Thankfully, you know, the one thing that's changed, I campaigned for bank charge reclaiming. We got £1 billion back for people in 2006. Back then, I remember one woman, and this is an idea of how things have improved. That woman had one missed payment, late payment from social services. She'd had a bank charge in it she was unable to pay, so she'd had bank charges on the bank charges and owed £3,000. Thankfully, after the campaign, they can't do those systemic bank charges anymore.
Well, we're sticking with banks because Martin told us earlier, £175 you could make without spending a penny. And this is by doing something...
We always need to spend a penny. But,
this is by doing something most people don't do.
Yeah, so look, right now we are seeing competition in the banking market. Then you can switch, and there are 5 banks paying you to switch. Now, you have to check their eligibility criteria.
You know it's important when Martin gets up and walks over to the
check eligibility because they all have different... You have to meet minimum pay-ins. But let's look at the 3 biggest payers that anybody can get. There's £200 for existing nationwide customers bringing a bank account in. Santander Edge, probably my overall top pick, gives you £175 for free. And then if you pay £3 a month, it gives you 1% cash back on all the bills you paid for it by direct debit and 1% cash back on all grocery and travel, up to a maximum £10 for each category, so £20 a month. Someone with typical bills would normally make about 80 to 100 quid a year after the £3 a fee on that. That's on top of the 175. It's got 7% easy access savings, massive best buy for easy access. You can put up to £4,000 in. If you want service, First Direct wins virtually every poll I've ever done on service. It's fee-free, 175 quid, has a 0% overdraft for most people up to 250 quid. So if you're overdrawn or you dip into it, the 175 quid can pay some of that off and you won't pay interest on the rest. It's got a 7% regular savings account, so much smaller amounts, say. You can put up to 300 quid a month in that one. And you've got Club Lloyds, also fee-free, also 175 quid. Here it's a choice of perks. The big one is a year's Disney Plus for free, and it's got a 6.25% regular saver. You can put a bit more in there than you can with First Direct, £400 a month, so the interest is bigger. But right now, unless your bank account tickles your toes, makes you happy, gives you a massage, if you need some free cash, check out whether you can ditch, switch, use their switching services. It's pretty easy to switch these days. There will be a minor credit check and make yourself a little bit of cash. Let us know how you get on if you try it.
Yeah. Martin, you say it's easy, but most people don't do it for a reason. I think because they presume it's going to be complicated or they're going to lose something in the transition. I
think there's legacy reputational damage from before the 7-day switching service was introduced, that people had bad experiences. When you use the switching service, they will close your old account for you, automatically move your direct debits, automatically move your standing orders for you, and then any payments made to the old account will be automatically forwarded to your new account. 87% of people, when I polled, tell me they find it easy and hassle-free. Yes.
If you just say you get paid monthly, could you open... Look, we're gone now. Could you open the accounts and just wash your money through? So you go to Santander and then a week later you just have it direct debited to...
So people who do the multiple switching, which I've written a lot on, have mule accounts, which is an account you set up specifically to be switched so you can get the switching cash because you need to switch and close an old account down. And then they have their main account, but they have a mule account, so they move to every single bonus. And there'll be people out there who've made You know, I had someone the other day who had made them and their wife, I think it was £2,000 over the last 18 months by gathering in all the switching bonuses. You need to be financially savvy, do it on a spreadsheet because you have to make minimum payments each month.
Good for them.
But yes, and we call it a mule account.
Good for them, because not many people get
money back from the banks.
No, beating the banks.
Exactly.
Yeah, back of the net.
Yeah.
That's made you more excited than anything said in the debate last night.
Good. I think that people get one over the bank.
Yeah.
Andrew, Kevin, thank you very much indeed. And you have been getting in touch this morning with your questions for Martin. So, Caroline Kennedy, following the debate last night, there was a big issue about taxing pensions. And Caroline says, Martin, please could you clarify what was said about taxing pensions? It does put fear up people. What are the facts? Can you just, for those people who didn't see that moment, and for a lot of people it is a standout moment, can you just explain what was said?
Well, Rishi Sunak started by saying, for the first time in history, pensioners will have to pay tax, which is a very loose statement. He later clarified he was talking about on the state pension, which is closer to the reality. And they're doing a live debate.
OK, for those people who aren't pensioners, what's the current situation with paying tax?
State pension income is taxable. It has always been taxable. You pay income tax on it. But the point here is you start to pay tax when you earn £12,570. Any earnings beforehand are untaxed. The state pension is currently around 11.5 grand. So if you were to get the full state pension and had no other income, you would not pay tax on it. So what Sunak was saying is, well, under Labour, he was trying to make an accusation. The state pension will go up above the tax-free threshold, so you would pay income on the full state pension, even if you had no other income. But the most important thing to understand is state pension income has always been taxed. So if you have other income on top of the state pension, well, it's the total amount of income that you have is taxable. And if that goes over the tax-free allowance of currently £12,570, frozen, of course, which is drawing lots more people into tax, then you'll pay tax on it. And at 20% of everything above £12,570. If you go just above 50 grand, you'll pay 40% on it. So there was some loose language. I don't think that was actually a deliberate misleading over that piece of loose language. It was just, I think, trying to make a political point was, but state pension income is taxable, but currently the state pension income, if you get the full state pension, not everybody does, on its own, is less than the amount you can earn tax-free. So people doing that don't pay tax.
Lisa says, please can you ask Martin why my credit score might have my twin sister's loan on it? I have no idea who to contact. I'm a full-time carer for my daughter. I'm trying to transfer my credit card balance to a 0% card. I've always had an excellent rating, but this is stopping me.
It's probably a cock-up, to be honest, because they've got an ID question. You might have the same initial as your twin, which could have done it, and it does happen sometimes. Look, you should only be linked with someone on your credit file if you've had a joint product with them, so a joint bank account or a joint mortgage. Marriage, kissing, holding hands, living together does not link you. Joint products link you. And when you're linked, it means they can look at the other person's credit file as well as yours when assessing if you'll be accepted. So what you need to do, the first thing is write to the credit reference agencies, tell them what's wrong, ask them to add a notice of correction on your file in the short run, but to take your sister off. It's likely just an ID cock-up that you need to fix, but get in touch with the credit reference agencies. Equifax, Experian and TransUnion, they're the three. Check your files on all of them. There are ways to do all for free. And make sure if that loan is on all of them, you want it off all of them, because her loan should not be on your file.
There are just three
There are
credit
three
reference
consumer credit reference agencies.
Excellent.
And you should check all three each year for what's on your files.
Very good advice. Martin, thank you very much indeed.